Once upon a time, in the lush, green meadow of Sunnyvale, there lived a little bunny named Benny. Benny was no ordinary bunny. He had the fluffiest white fur and the brightest blue eyes that sparkled like the sky. His ears stood tall and alert, always twitching at the slightest sound. Benny loved to hop around, explore the world, and make new friends. But there was one thing that set Benny apart from all the other bunnies. He was incredibly brave. His bravery often led him to exciting adventures that his friends would eagerly gather to hear about. Every day, Benny would gather his friends at the foot of the great oak tree, the biggest tree in the meadow. The tree had been there for hundreds of years and was home to many woodland creatures. Benny would tell tales of courage, kindness, and adventure that he had heard from the wise old owl, Oliver, who lived in the tree's hollow. One sunny morning, Benny hopped over to the great oak tree, his heart filled with excitement. Today felt special, but he couldn't quite place why. As he arrived, he noticed a group of bunnies looking worried, their ears drooping and their noses twitching anxiously. "What's wrong, everyone?" Benny asked, his nose twitching with curiosity. "Benny, you must help us," cried Lily, a timid bunny with soft brown fur. "The bridge to the enchanted forest is broken, and we can't reach the magical meadow where the rainbow carrots grow." Benny's heart raced at the thought of a new adventure. "Don't worry, I'll fix the bridge," he exclaimed, puffing out his chest proudly. The other bunnies cheered, and Benny felt a warm glow of excitement spreading through him. With his trusty backpack filled with tools, his little hammer, some string, and a bag of carrots for energy, Benny set off towards the river that separated Sunnyvale from the enchanted forest. The river sparkled in the sunlight, and the gentle sound of flowing water was calming. As he approached the bridge, he saw that it had collapsed and pieces of wood were scattered everywhere. Benny scratched his head. This looks like a big job." He took a deep breath and examined the wreckage. The bridge had fallen apart in several places, and it seemed like they would need more than just a few sticks to fix it. Just then, Oliver the owl swooped down from his tree. "Benny, my brave little friend, it seems you're in need of some help," he hooted. His feathers ruffled slightly in the breeze. "Gather the animals of the meadow. Together you can fix the bridge." Benny nodded and quickly hopped back to Sunnyvale. He called for his friends. "Come on, everyone. We need all paws on deck to help rebuild the bridge." The animals gathered at the great oak tree, their eyes wide with concern. Benny stood on a rock, trying to rally them. "We can't let the broken bridge stop us. The magical meadow is waiting for us, and we can fix it together." Squirrels scurried to join, their little tails flicking with excitement. "We can gather branches and twigs." One of them squeaked. "Don't forget about me," called Daisy, a spirited deer who was always eager to lend a hoof. "I can help lift the heavy pieces." With everyone's help, they set to work. Benny assigned tasks to each group, making sure everyone had a role. The squirrels scurried up trees, collecting sturdy branches and twigs, while the deer used their strong legs to lift the heavier logs. The birds flew back and forth, delivering messages and keeping everyone motivated with their cheerful songs. Benny directed the operation, encouraging everyone with his infectious enthusiasm. While working, Benny noticed that the shyest bunny, Lily, was hanging back. "Hey, Lily, why aren't you helping?" he asked. "I'm not sure if I can do much," she replied, her ears drooping. Benny hopped closer. "You can do anything you set your mind to. Why don't you help us gather some flowers to decorate the bridge? It will make it look beautiful." Lily's eyes lit up, and she nodded eagerly. "I'd love to." She dashed off, her confidence growing as she gathered colorful wildflowers from the meadow. As the sun began to set, painting the sky with hues of orange and pink, the bridge was starting to take shape. They had worked hard, and Benny felt proud of what they were accomplishing together. Suddenly, a loud crash startled everyone. They turned to see that a large rock had rolled down the hill and landed right in the middle of the bridge. The animals gasped. "Oh no, what do we do?" squeaked a little squirrel, his eyes wide. Benny quickly assessed the situation. "We need to move that rock," he declared, his voice steady. "Who can help me?" "Me." The deer stepped forward. "I can help push it," she said. Timothy, the wise old tortoise, also spoke up. "I may be slow, but I can help direct the effort," he said with a nod. With teamwork, they surrounded the rock, pushing and pulling with all their might. Benny cheered them on 3. 1, 2, 3. With a great effort, They finally rolled the rock away, creating a clear path for the bridge. Just then, they heard a rustling in the bushes. Benny's ears perked up, and he hopped closer to investigate. To his surprise, a family of foxes emerged from the thicket. The largest fox, a sly-looking one with a bushy tail, eyed the group curiously. "What are you doing here?" Benny asked, a little nervous but still brave. "We heard you were building a bridge. We want to help too," the fox said, a sly grin on his face. The other animals looked skeptical. After all, foxes were known to be tricky and cunning. Benny thought for a moment. "If you're here to help, then let's see what you can do," he said cautiously. The foxes eagerly began to gather materials, impressing everyone with their speed and agility. They quickly brought in strong vines and branches that Benny had not even noticed before. The other animals began to relax, realizing that maybe they could trust these newcomers. As the bridge neared completion, Benny felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. They had worked hard, but would it be strong enough to hold all the bunnies? Finally, with one last branch placed in the center, Benny stood back and admired their work. The bridge looked magnificent, adorned with flowers and vines. "Okay, everyone, let's test it out," Benny announced, hopping onto the bridge. The animals watched with bated breath as Benny carefully made his way across. The bridge creaked but held firm. Cheers erupted from the crowd. One by one, the other animals crossed, and soon they were all celebrating on the other side. Benny's heart swelled with pride. "We did it. We fixed the bridge together." But as they celebrated, Benny noticed that one of the foxes was acting strange, sneaking around the edge of the meadow. Benny hopped over to investigate. "What are you doing?" Benny asked, his voice firm. The fox looked startled. "I was just looking for something," he stammered. "Looking for what?" Benny pressed, narrowing his eyes. The fox sighed. "Fine. I was hoping to find some food. My family hasn't eaten in days." Benny's heart softened. "You could have just asked. We can share our rainbow carrots with you." He turned back to the other animals. "What do you all think?" The animals murmured among themselves. "It's only fair," said Lily, stepping forward. "If they helped us, we should help them too." With the foxes now part of their group, they all crossed the newly built bridge and entered the enchanted forest together. As they stepped into the magical world, they were greeted by sights that took their breath away. Trees shimmering with golden leaves, flowers glowing in the dark, and a gentle breeze that carried the sweet scent of rainbow carrots. In the heart of the magical meadow, they set up a picnic, and Benny shared the rainbow carrots with the fox family. They all feasted together, laughing and enjoying the delicious flavors. The foxes were grateful, and the atmosphere shifted from suspicion to camaraderie. As they ate, Benny shared stories of their adventure, and the foxes told tales of their own challenges. Benny realized that everyone had struggles, and sometimes helping others could turn enemies into friends. As night began to fall and stars twinkled in the sky, Benny suddenly noticed a flickering light in the distance. Curious, he hopped closer, followed by his friends. They soon discovered a group of fireflies dancing in the air, creating a beautiful spectacle. "Look at that," Lily exclaimed, her eyes wide with wonder. But as they watched, the fireflies seemed to be in distress, swirling around in circles. Benny's heart raced again. Something's wrong. Let's find out what it is. They approached the fireflies, who explained in their tiny voices, "We've lost our way. We were supposed to guide the lost bunnies home, but now we're trapped in the thicket." Benny's adventurous spirit flared up again. "Don't worry, we'll help you," he said confidently. He turned to his friends. "Who's with me?" The animals rallied around Benny, ready to assist. They navigated through the thick underbrush, working together to clear paths for the fireflies. Benny encouraged everyone, reminding them that they were stronger together. After a challenging trek through the thicket, they finally found an opening that led to a glowing exit. "This way," Benny shouted, and the fireflies buzzed with excitement as they followed him through the path. Once they reached the clearing, the fireflies swarmed around Benny, lighting up the area with their radiant glow. "Thank you, Benny. You've saved us," they chimed in unison. Benny smiled, his heart swelling with pride. "Now you can guide the lost bunnies home." The fireflies twinkled with joy and flew off into the night, lighting up the path behind them. Benny and his friends waved goodbye, feeling a sense of accomplishment. As they made their way back to the bridge, the foxes stayed close, feeling grateful for the kindness they had received. Benny turned to them. You see, everyone can be brave, and everyone can help others. No matter who you are, we can all make a difference. The moonlight bathed the meadow in a soft glow as they crossed the bridge back to Sunnyvale. The animals cheered for Benny, their brave little bunny who had led them on an incredible adventure filled with friendship and courage. When they returned to Sunnyvale, the bunnies, deer, and squirrels celebrated their successful day with a grand feast, sharing stories of their adventure and how they had all worked together. The foxes joined in, and everyone danced under the stars, united by their shared experiences and newfound friendships. From that day on, Benny the brave bunny was not just known for his courage, but also for his heart. He showed everyone that true bravery comes from helping others, making friends, and facing challenges together. And so Benny and his friends continued to have many more adventures in the Magical Meadow, always reminding one another that together they could overcome anything.